Hello everyone, I hope you are well. My name is Nick, we're on the Sega Mega Drive and we're going to be looking at Lotus Turbo Challenge, a game that I was really familiar with on the Commodore Amiga, and having just reviewed Outrun, our first game on the Sega Mega Drive, I thought I'd see how this one compares directly. The Amiga version was published by Gremlin Graphics. This has been ported over from that by EA in 1992. So it wasn't directly designed with the Sega Mega Drive in mind, yeah, so that's going to be quite interesting. I love this on the Commodore Amiga. I played it on the Commodore 64. It wasn't quite as good and ZX Spectrum with our 8-bit system, so this bit should be able to rival that. We will pick automatic gears. There's a number of different stages, 8 in all: forest, night, snow, fog, motorway, desert, marsh and storm. Hopefully I can get through a few of those. Now I did one practice go on this and it did seem a lot more difficult, the Amiga version. Maybe it's just me getting used to the particular system. So there we got to drive through all those checkpoints and get to the end. So a bit like Outrun, but different stages rather than all in a row. 1992 Electronic Arts. We'll see how this plays. Now although this is called Lotus Turbo Challenge, it's Lotus Turbo Challenge 2 on the Commodore Amiga, so they didn't do the first one. So a little bit confusion there. So here we go. Time ticking down on the top right. Now it might be my imagination, but I don't think it is. The cars seem a little bit wider, which makes it slightly more difficult to overtake. Now if you crash into other cars, you will rebound off them and it'll cost you time. Again, the scenery also. So you need to go as quickly as you can. And this thing sure does move like the Commodore Amiga version. There'll be obstacles to get round as well. But the problem with this version is, the Amiga version is a lot easier than this. If I crash into something even once, well even about 3 times, it makes it really difficult to get off the stage. Now this forest stage or woodland stage at the start on the Amiga version is really easy to get off because it was teaching you how to use controls basically and get into the game. Here it's very difficult straight away, so I can get to probably the storm scene and be playing it for about 3/4 of an hour straight away. It's not going to be the same with this version, but it moves quite fast. People told me bad things about this game and it's already better than my expectations because of that. I think it's moving ever so slightly slower. I do prefer Outrun out the 2, but yes. Sounds different to the Amiga version as well, so we go into that checkpoint with a bit of time to spare. If you run out of time, the car doesn't stop like Outrun. There's a bit of inertia, so the car gradually comes to a standstill, so sometimes you can just roll over the finishing line just in the nick of time. Like jump, boom, so that's good. Another jump. Right, water will slow you down in this high-end sports car. Yeah, but the cars are definitely wider, aren't they? In this game there's 2 cars, but you can't choose which one you want. It gives you them on certain stages. There's the Lotus Elan, which I believe we're driving now, and the Lotus Turbo Esprit. Stage after this is the night stage. In practice I never got to that, believe it or not. The amount of times I've played this on the Amiga version and got off this stage every single time, haven't got off this stage on the practice go, so yes. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So it could be quite a short review, but it's all about seeing how these games play back in the day. Did you own this one on the Sega Genesis or the Sega Mega Drive? Let me know, because we will be reviewing a few more games, but the only reason I'm reviewing this one is because so recently reviewed Outrun. It's a direct comparison with checkpoints and all those sort of things, and I thought it would be quite nice to compare it to the Amiga version as well, which I got a greater knowledge on before we dip in more fully really. But there's a few Amiga conversions that you potentially could look at. Test Drive 2 I think is one of them also. Oh, see, look, so it's already running out of time there. The screen I think seems ever so slightly squished. On 2-player it's split screen. It seems ever so slightly squished, so when you're coming up to obstacles you don't got too much time to react, but that can be overcome by learning the track. So they're always going to be in the same position, these obstacles, so it forces you to learn. I think by the time you manage to get off level 1 you turn into a bit of an expert and get quite far in the game, but I'm doing better than I did before, but only just. 20 odd seconds left. Haven't crashed too many times. Hopefully the pressure won't get to me. So it's not bad, this game. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad. It's good. I'll soon know when I come to other racing games on the system whether this is good or bad, but I think it's alright. And I finished. Hooray! With 4 seconds to spare. Brilliant. So published originally by Gremlin Graphics on the Commodore Amiga and then ported by EA in 1992. I don't think they've done a too bad job. These cutscenes are a bit different and this map bit here is different as well. There was some quite good interspersed music between the stages on the Amiga version. There we go, that's different as well. It would only normally show that on the intro on other versions. So the night stage, visibility is even trickier here, but it does give you a password sleepers. So you don't have to do that for a section again, you just type in that password sleepers and then, well, key it in I suppose with the pad or whatever, then you're there. So let's go. Oh, I'm in a white car. Did the Amiga version do that? I thought it was always red, or maybe green. Possibly. Okay, right, so white and this slightly wider car. Now overtake is going to be tricky here I think, as we come out the city. So I've already crashed once, I don't know if that's going to cause me bother trying to qualify. So depending on how long this bit lasts, I'm not overly confident. We might let it go into demo mode to show you what two-player split screen, let's say, looks like as well. So it will show you pretty much the game. The coolest stages on this are on the Amiga version. I'm sure this is no different with the snow stage, which is actually snowing as you go along, and the thunderstorms. There's thunder and lightning on the other version that I played. But if you own a Sega Mega Drive or Genesis, this isn't a bad game to have in your collection. I quite like it. What's your favourite racing game? People have recommended a few for me to have a look at. Super Monaco Grand Prix was one. There's Outrun 2019, which I looked at in a list. I haven't actually played that one yet. So there's a few about. My knowledge before this point on Mega Drive and Sega Genesis games were just on the PlayStation 3 Ultimate Collection. There was no racing games on that at all. It's all platforms and stuff, and I think some of them were HD remakes. So it'd be good to see how those games actually play on the actual physical system. Although this is emulated as close as we can possibly get it. Games like Golden Axe and the Sonic Hedgehog games and Streets of Rage as well. Those classics, I'm quite keen to dig back into those. But my favourite games on any system are driving games. So here we go. I had to show you Lotus. Now I think Lotus 3 has been converted to the Sega Mega Drive as well, but oddly it's called Lotus 2. I know, it gets confusing. The first Lotus game on the Amiga was a corker. The second one improved on that a little bit, but you lost the championship modes. Hopefully the third game in this series here brings you those championship modes back. There was a course editor as well on the Amiga. Does the third one on this have it as well? Might have to jump forward and review that one early, just so we can make sure. So 18 seconds left. I've made a few boo-boos here. Visibility isn't great, but you need to keep your wits about, yo. Good. Oh, in the tunnel. I do like a good tunnel in a game. I love those. Oops, the engine sound's gone very weird, Captain Kirkish. Yes, very strange. Oh, God. We're running out of time there. So we're on the bare minimum here. I'm having to slow down a lot round the corners, going a bit wide. I'm turning a bit late. 12 seconds. This doesn't look good, does it, folks? I must be quite near the end of the whole thing, to be honest. 4 seconds. Oh, God, can we roll over? 1 second. Oh, yes! Boom. Now, I think this is the last stage of the night scene, I believe. Can't afford to make any boo-boos if we're going to do it here. And I've made a boo-boo. I've crashed into the side, which cost us a bit of time. Give it full pelt down here. Hopefully the finish line is along a straight. 6 seconds. I'll just floor it. 5, 3. Oh, we're not going to do this. 1. Oh no, we've gone onto the grass. If we hadn't gone onto the grass, we might have been a roller. Oh, there it is there, just in the distance. Red. Game over. Oh, we almost did it. Well, that's much better than my practice goes, for sure. Excellent. So that's how far I got. Was it the last stage? I think it was. We got all the way around there. I think the next stage may have been snow or fog. I think it may have been snow. Oh no, it's quite a distance away, weren't we, really? Yes. Okay. So we'll let this go round so I can show you the split screen on the 2-player. Did you play 2-player game back in the day? Good music, this. I'm glad they converted it to the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. It's a pretty fast racer. Screen's a bit squished, but if you've never seen the Amiga version, you would like this version. The Amiga version is the definitive, I would say, but this comes close, but not quite as good. Music's a lot better on the Amiga as well. But it's unfair to compare them perhaps because this is an Amiga port, wasn't designed with the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis in mind really. I suppose vice versa, it wouldn't be quite as good. Andrew Morris, Sean Southern did the original game. There's the specs of the Lotus Elan, looking quite nifty, and it should bring you the Esprit as well. There we go. There we go. Quite looking forward to seeing some other Amiga ports as well. Probably cover those quite early on. Come on, 2Player, go to that. Then I can leave you with it. Yes, so I hope you liked having a look at that one. That was Lotus Turbo Challenge, published by Electronic Arts in 1992 on the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. Got any comments about that, then please put them below. A huge thank you to everyone that's subscribed so far. If you haven't already, please consider doing so because that helps a lot. If you want to help a bit more, there's patreon.com/njenkin. Every bit really does help. Until next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.